Nothing like a fresh baked cookie. Nom, 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 nom. Today on Problem Solved.
Are you looking for better pantry management? So much better.
Time is ticking. Just pop this in your skillet to add extra flavor.
It'll save you money and time.
So the best thing since sliced bread, I had to say it, is making it last longer. Something that I've been super conscious about when it comes to grocery shopping, what I keep in my house, is just trying to not waste anything. I don't know how it's been such like a focus of mine when it comes to my kitchen, but I try my best to find ways to use everything, to preserve everything, to make sure nothing goes to waste.
Yeah, I mean, once you start focusing on it, you really kind of hone in on all the ways that you are wasting the groceries that you spend all this time and money buying, and then you just really zone in and say, oh my gosh, I really need to streamline this. I really need to audit all the things I'm doing and all the ways I'm stocking my pantry and my refrigerator and my freezer, so I'm not wasting so much.
Yeah, and it's twofold. It's not just about creating waste, creating more trash and not using stuff. It's really about the money. That's stuff you spent money on that you never use.
Just lighting that money on fire.
Yeah, might as well.
But I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, and once you know better, you do better, right?
Yep, once you know better, you do better. If you have fresh herbs in your refrigerator, time is ticking. They can pack a lot of flavor, but they don't have great shelf life. But there's some sage advice you can use to preserve your herbs. Here's how to use your freezer for lasting flavor. Ice is cool and all, but it really has no taste. So tasteless. Ice cube trays, on the other hand, can be packed with flavor. This will be the perfect vessel to store and preserve herbs in the freezer. Strip your herbs from the stem, you can chop them or leave them whole. You can keep the herbs separate or do a mixture. To keep these delicious herbs protected in the freezer, you need olive oil. Just enough to cover. I love an ice cube tray with a lid. It makes storing and stacking way easier. Basil and parsley are a bit more delicate, so store basil as pesto, or I like to make scampi butter out of parsley. You just need softened butter, add in your parsley, a ton of minced garlic, lemon zest. The juice gets away with it every time. Oh, there we go. Sprinkle of salt. Mix that all together. Load up that tray. Butter can only get better with garlic. I'm gonna fill the rest up with pesto. Once these are frozen, you can pull out individual portions, throw them into pasta, seafood, whatever you want. Just pop this in your skillet to add extra flavor. An ice cube tray is a great way to freeze and save individual portions of stock or your favorite sauces. Keep your cubes stored airtight and they should last 3 to 4 months. This deliciousness will be waiting for me right in the freezer. Once they're solid, you can save space by transferring them to a freezer bag. Just remove the air and label it. Perfect little blast of flavor.
Finding ways, using the tools at our disposal for keeping track of your expiration dates can really help you be more creative in the kitchen and make it so you're not reaching into your pantry and seeing something from 2019 and wondering, is this still okay? Do I need to throw this out and waste it? Or is this still good? I don't know, questioning it. But there are so many tools at our disposal to help us keep track of expiration dates, and that's such a great way to aid in wasting less food, less money. I feel like some of those tools also give you insight into all of the meals you could possibly make that you maybe wouldn't think of with a handful of ingredients that you have in either your pantry or your fridge. And I love that, because when my brain is fried at the end of the day, I want to know, how can I throw together these 10 random ingredients that I have lingering on the shelves or in my fridge and make a great meal?
Take all the help you can get.
I will take all the help I can get. I'll always take all the help I can get. You ever find something suspicious in your pantry that doesn't have an expiration date? Here's how to easily keep track of all your expiration dates. If you love to decant your dry goods for easy visualization and organization, you can put a regular label on it, but also include a label that has the date filled with the expiration date. And speaking of labels, if you're keeping track of leftover expiration dates, I love these dissolvable labels that they use in commercial kitchens. They're so handy and they wash right off in water. Oh my gosh, so awesome. And if you love a label maker as much as I do, you can use waterproof labels on your containers and it'll go right through the dishwasher and stand up to the heat, and you can just change out the date using a dry erase marker. And for all of you hard copy devotees, you can download one of these awesome food expiration tracker PDFs and you can hang it on your refrigerator or in your pantry and make it super easy on yourself. And if you're notorious for going to the grocery store with grand meal plans but then end up eating Chipotle in your car, 5 out of 7 days a week, you can use these reusable freezer storage bags and put all of the ingredients you need for one meal inside each bag. And all you have to do is label the bags with the meal name and the use-by date, and then these meals never get lost or forgotten about in your freezer. And if tech's more your thing, you can use an app like Fridgely to keep track of all of your expiration dates digitally. On Fridgely, all you have to do is scan an item's barcode, click it, save it to the space that you want to store it in, like the pantry, and it'll save the expiration date for you. And you can also create an expiration dates list on your Reminders app and add the expiration dates in so it'll send you notifications when it's getting close. And if label makers, PDFs, and apps aren't your jam, just go old school and use painter's tape, masking tape, washi tape, and a Sharpie, and you're good. It's just too easy.
I run Iron Chef in my house all the time to get rid of that stuff that's like about to expire, about to go bad. I just pull it all out and I'm like, okay, what can I make from these 10 random things, you know, like what can I prepare? And I feel like that's a lot of fun, especially if you enjoy, you know, having a good time in the kitchen, you know, making up meals, being creative. So I love doing that as well. You know, how do you use up the stuff that's about to turn, about to, you know, about to go bad? Buying fresh in season and in bulk can be a great value when it comes to produce. That can be a lot to store in your refrigerator and eat all at once. Here's how to freeze produce. When vegetables are super fresh is the right time to preserve them. But for many veggies, you can't just throw them right into the freezer. Blanching in a hot pot of water is the technique you're gonna need. Blanching is a simple technique of quickly cooking in hot water. This process preserves nutrients and color. Before you blanch, you're gonna wanna wash, peel, and chop. Now this is going to be a much more appealing way to store your veggies. Onions and peppers, you can skip the blanching altogether. I get super serious when I chop so I don't lose a finger. Laser focus. Corn, just shuck it. You can leave it on the cob or take it off. 30 seconds in the microwave and it's shucking fantastic. Makes it so much easier. All this corn to shuck, life's always gotta be messing with me. Oh, falling away from me. The water doesn't need to be boiling, just a light simmer. Then just gently add in your vegetables. For most vegetables, just a minute or two will do. You don't even need to cook it all the way through. The other part of this process is to quickly cool everything to set the color and flavor. Just add to a bowl of ice water. If I'm blanching in a big batch, I just go lightest to darkest to preserve the colors. For a smaller dice, you only need 30 seconds to a minute. Since everything's already chopped and prepared, you can just throw it into your favorite recipe or it defrosts really quickly. Get rid of any excess liquid and make sure things are completely cooled. Pack that up into a freezer bag. I like to freeze everything flat, it's less storage and things won't clump up. Bonus, freeze and save those scraps and make stock later. Now these vegetables will be delicious straight from the freezer for several months. So I've embraced also, you know, stay away from more prepared, preserved stuff, you know, the on-the-shelf stuff, and more fresh stuff, because of course that's what your kitchen should have, all the fresh stuff. But there are smart ways where you can preserve that stuff, stick it in your freezer so it lasts longer. Still the same nutrients, you know, still the same value of goodness and all that stuff, but you can now keep it for months instead of it just going bad in your refrigerator in a week. I've gotten bread from the farmer's market and just a few days later, mold appears. Freshly baked, it's at its best, but it doesn't last long. And good bread should only be flour, yeast, and salt, and no preservatives. So the best thing since sliced bread, I had to say it, is making it last longer. Here's how to freeze and save your fresh baked bread. This is so great. If it's properly packed, it'll last for months. If you picked up a loaf and it's hot and fresh, make sure it's completely cool before we get wrapping. Portioning is key here. Keep what you're gonna use right away, and we're gonna save the rest. I'm gonna slice this up to use over the next couple weeks. I'll be transparent with you. You just need to wrap it really tightly. So tight. A double wrap for extra safety. Don't wait, store that extra bread right away while it's fresh and soft. Keeping things airtight will prevent freezer burn and preserve all that goodness. Load up a freezer bag, label it, and you're good to go. Now all that dough's not gonna go to waste. To thaw, just move it to the fridge overnight. Should be good to go by the morning. Larger pieces may take a little extra time. Sliced bread is ideal. Just remove the pieces you want. They'll thaw quickly, or just pop them straight into the toaster. Bread can last up to 6 months in the freezer. After about 2 months, the texture can change a little bit, so it's ideal to use for French toast or even bread pudding. Tips on saving your bread? Now that's cash money. Coming up on Problem Solved.
Are you looking for better pantry management?
I always have meals ready to go in the freezer for hectic weeks. And later, you ate an entire wheel of cheese?
Having a big, beautiful pantry like this is awesome.
Nothing like a fresh baked cookie. Nom, 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 nom. Buying in bulk can be a good thing, but also be cautious of overbuying in bulk.
Yeah.
We're like, how are you gonna use all those canned tomatoes
Yeah.
over the life of that product, you know? It can be a slippery slope.
It can be a slippery slope. Buying in bulk is fabulous, but yeah, it's one of those things that you can really end up hurting yourself more than you're helping, because those 20 cans of black beans can get shoved into the back of the drawer and you never see them again until 5 years later.
Canned and dry goods are stored best in the pantry, right? But some of those pantry items can spoil quickly. Here are some pantry staples that could be stored in the freezer. After all, your icebox is just a super cold pantry. I need to organize in here. The oils and nuts can go rancid if not stored properly. Since buying in bulk is such a good value, why let any go to waste? Nuts are great to store in the freezer to prolong their shelf life. I usually have nuts left over from holiday baking, so the rest goes right into the freezer. Anything you store in the freezer should be sealed in an airtight container or bag. Always label and date. Nuts from the freezer, you can just remove what you want, put the rest back, and they thaw super quick. If you buy flour in bulk, you can actually keep it in the freezer. Especially for dry goods, you want to keep moisture, odors, and flavors out. You'll keep all that out if it's airtight. You can even freeze your wild oats. And since we're talking about the freezer, let this be a reminder that bananas can go in there too. I always keep these in the freezer before they get too ripe for banana ice cream and smoothies. Dry goods in the freezer should last up to a year when stored properly. Ooh, maybe time for a bigger freezer. I used to have a tendency to just see something on the shelf and buy it when I already have 1 or 2 at home. This came up with cinnamon. I was like, oh, I need cinnamon for a recipe, so I bought cinnamon and I used it, and then I cleaned out my spice cabinet. This is like weeks after, and realized I had 3 cinnamons in there already.
3 cinnamons in there, yeah.
And I was like, it's time to make a change. We've got to focus. So always check ingredients first before buying a new one.
Yeah, just take a picture. If you can visualize all this stuff,
Yeah.
take a picture before you go to the grocery store, and then you can see what's on your shelf and see what you have and what you don't have. Do your chaotic pantry shelves make it hard for you to see what's in stock? I'm gonna show you how to organize your pantry so you always know your inventory. My first and favorite tip is to organize using levels. Using these affordable shelf risers will help you see what's in the back, what's in the middle, and what's in the front without having to shift things around. You can use clear storage bins that stack on top of each other, or even stackable freestanding shelves. Sure, seagrass baskets are pretty, but they're not really practical for a pantry. I say use wire baskets that you can see through, or clear storage bins so you can always easily visualize what you have in stock. With everything clear and visible, you can take a picture of your stock and take it with you when you go grocery shopping. Another great way to see your pantry inventory is to decant your dry goods and put them in airtight, clear storage containers that you can label and stack to make use of space. And my favorite way to keep track of what's in my pantry is to use the app Supercook. You can input all of your pantry items, and then it'll suggest all of the recipes you can make with those items. I can make over 10,000 recipes with just 32 ingredients that I have in my pantry. Awesome! I feel like a lot of people with kids or that have really busy schedules, they want to streamline the prep process in tandem with not wasting as much. So I love the idea of doing like bin meals. So you've got your dry goods in your Monday bin, and you've planned taco night for that, and you've got your refrigerator goods in your refrigerator bin for Monday, and then all you have to do is pull out your Monday bins from each place, throw them together, and you've got taco night, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
And you already prepped them, you already shopped for them.
You're really changing up the game doing tacos on a Monday.
I will forgo Taco Tuesday for Taco Monday because my toddler demands it, okay?
He's a taco guy.
He demanded that the tacos be on both Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. They're just different kinds of tacos. So taco night comes on Monday now, and anybody with a toddler, they get me. Are you looking for better pantry management, less food waste, easier meal prep, and in general, less chaos? Here's how to easily manage your pantry using bin meals. The first thing you're gonna do is invest in wire baskets for your pantry and then clear refrigerator bins. And then label each set of 2 bins with matching days of the week. Before you head to the grocery store to shop, write out your meal plan for the week. It'll save you money and time. Once you get back from the grocery store, unload your groceries right into their respective bins and separate them by pantry ingredients and refrigerator ingredients. And then when it's dinner time, you're just gonna pull your bins out for that day, and your meal prep's already done for you. How easy is that? Woo! Everybody loves taco night. And this isn't just for dinners. This works for lunches and snacks too. And don't forget, next time you're making your list, shop your kitchen first.
I feel like people are so used to going in the freezer aisle at the grocery store, getting those prepared meals and throwing them in the freezer. Your freezer is a pantry. You can make those yourself. So that's where I take a lot of inspiration for those meals. If there's something you see in the grocery store, hands down, you can create it for cheaper, get more out of it, and with fresher ingredients if you recreate it yourself. So if you see a frozen meal, all that stuff is available in your produce aisle. Make it for cheaper, have
100%.
enough servings for your whole family, and make that freezer meal yourself. And now your freezer is a pantry.
A fun little grocery store hack, right?
Yeah.
I feel like, once again, I feel like a lot of people, we all can say that we probably don't think of that as much. When we see the freezer aisle and look at our freezer, we just think, the stuff that's prepared in the freezer aisle, we throw it in the freezer and then maybe we'll eat it, maybe we won't, we don't know.
Exactly, we don't know.
But it is such a fun idea to, prepare and meal prep like you normally would, make your list, get the meals, and then freeze by meals that you can just pull out and make real quick later. And it gives you more time with the items that you've invested your money and thought in.
Meal prep and freezing leftovers are a great way to have quick dinners on hand, but you won't get off that easy. You still have to do all the cooking first. Here are some tips for make-ahead freezer meals. I always have meals ready to go in the freezer for hectic weeks. So when I have time, I prep meals for when I don't have time. To make a meal kit, you just need a freezer bag and any combination of ingredients goes. It's as easy as choosing a protein, or not. Chicken, sausage, beef, all work great. Add in vegetables, and literally any sauce will do. Combine your ingredients in the bag and you're good to go. This is gonna be a vegetable curry with chickpeas, some potato, broccoli, and a jar of curry sauce. Love that noise. This one's gonna be a pot pie soup. Corn, peas and carrots, potatoes, celery. You can really take inspiration from anywhere. I saw this pot pie sauce at the store and thought, make a freezer meal. The sound is so pleasant. I want this to be a soup, so I'm gonna add some stock and use it to clean out this jar. Get all that goodness out of there. Last but not least, the chicken. Pastas also are great for make-ahead meals. Pasta right in the bag. This sausage smells good. For this kit, I'm packing my sauce and veggies separate. I am a big fan of reusable bags. They really cut down on waste. This is so versatile, you can mix up your favorite flavors and seasonings. Do this for soups, stews, and chilies. Ooh, say that 5 times fast. Trust me, a meal kit will save you. You just grab it, there's no hassle, you don't even need to think about it. For even less effort, prepare your meal kit in a crock pot, pressure cooker, or even in the oven. Into the freezer, and these will be waiting for a rainy day. Coming up on Problem Solved, you ate an entire wheel of cheese?
This used to be a broom closet. Yeah, see? So much better.
Nothing like a fresh baked cookie. Nom 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 nom. Your freezer is not supposed to be a time capsule, okay?
Words to live by. That's sage wisdom, friend.
Yeah,
that is sage
exactly.
wisdom.
And a lot of stuff can be frozen, but not everything is supposed to be frozen. And it's really about freezing it the right way.
Yep.
Just putting it in a bag and throwing it in there isn't helping preserve it. You really have to package stuff the correct way to make it last the longest.
Oh, yeah. I feel like harness those tools.
Preach!
Harness those tools.
Cheese already has a pretty good shelf life, and buying a block or in bulk can be a good value. But what are you gonna do with all that extra cheese? Here's how to freeze and store cheese. The more cheddar I come across, the more problems I see. Instead of letting it dry out and grow mold in the refrigerator, store extra in the freezer. If it's a whole block, portion it out into pieces that you can use up all at once. Just wrap each bundle up tightly to prevent freezer burn. You can even do a double wrap. Pack it up, date it, freeze it. For sliced cheeses, you'll want some parchment in between. This, of course, will help you remove pieces as you need them. Store that in a freezer bag and be sure to label it. Pre-shredded cheese, I like to keep in a single layer so it doesn't clump up. Just be sure to remove all that air. If you're shredding cheese fresh from the block, I'm still Kobe from the block. It helps to add a little cornstarch. A little sprinkle will prevent everything from sticking together, and it helps if the cheese is really cold. Cheese! Now it's ready for the freezer. Into the bag, 1 layer. Freezing is gonna work best for firmer cheeses like cheddar, jack, and even low moisture mozzarella. Fresh cheeses with more water content are best used quickly and not frozen. If you portion your cheese, a smaller block should thaw quickly overnight in the refrigerator. Slices and shredded, forget about it. Those will thaw in no time. If packaged properly, cheese will last up to 9 months in this frigid environment. What's that? You ate an entire wheel of cheese? I'm not even mad. That's amazing. Every few months, do just a rotation. Whatever's in the back of your cupboard, pull to the front, because what you see, you tend to use and be inspired to use. So even that swap in your freezer and your refrigerator, put things at the forefront.
Yeah.
And then that stuff will get used because you're like, oh, I didn't even know I had that. So, okay, I'm gonna pull it out. Small little things.
How many times have you reached down into your freezer and found something from years ago that's like very suspect, that we don't know what it is, we can't identify it, we don't know what, what year it's from, and you really just need to be able to see it, and then you would use it. But when it goes down to the depths, it's never a good thing.
Yeah, that's why labeling is so important. Label everything, because I'll pull out that package and I'll be like, ooh, I missed the mark on this one because I have no clue what this caked and freezer burn thing is. But
make a label maker your best friend, and your pantry, your refrigerator, your freezer will be a whole new world, seriously.
I'm sure you would agree, homemade cookies are worth the effort, but many recipes make a ton. After all that measuring and mixing, sure would be nice if that cookie dough lasted forever. Here's how to store and freeze cookies. Freezing is the perfect way to prepare cookie dough in advance. Have it on hand for any occasion, especially the holidays. If you're making homemade cookies, consider even doubling the recipe so you can save more for later. Just about any of your favorite cookie dough recipes are ideal for freezing. Follow the recipe like normal, but instead of the oven, these are getting the Han Solo treatment. They're gonna get the carbonite. It's really just the freezer. A scoop is the winning tool here. Portion that dough into individual balls. Let these chill and firm up in the fridge before we pack them up. I like to use a reusable freezer bag. Now these are nice and firm and won't smush together. Load it up for later. Write down the type of cookie, the temperature, and that bake time. Just gonna wrap that up. Instead of writing on the bag, I can throw this right in. Get as much air out as you can and seal it up. Now the Bounty is ready for the freezer. If you're gonna do cutout cookies like sugar cookies, freeze the dough all at once. Wrap it up tightly, form it into a flat disc, double wrap it to make sure it stays airtight, label it, and date it. And you guessed it, toss it in the freezer. When it's cookie time, just let this thaw overnight in the refrigerator, roll it out, stamp it, bake it. Those freezer cookies will last up to 3 months. You can have cookies on hand whenever you want them and bake exactly what you need, one extra. You can bake straight from the freezer, they just may need an extra minute or two. Go ahead and freeze those baked cookies too. Just be sure those cookies are cool before you pack them away. And there's only one way to find out. Oh, pretty cool. Layer them in a container between parchment paper. That paper will keep them from sticking together, and a hard container will keep them from getting crushed. In the freezer, these will last a couple months. Nothing like a fresh baked cookie. Nom 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 nom. It's in my pocket.
Storage is one of those things that a lot of people kind of forget about. It's something that isn't as big a part of their routine as storing stuff in the pantry or storing stuff in the refrigerator, but storing stuff in the freezer really can help you have more food for longer, obviously.
Yeah, and your freezer and pantry can work in tandem. So you have like your jarred sauces that are shelf stable for a long time, your dried pastas or your rices, and then have the meats, the proteins, the vegetables in the freezer. You just put the two together and you have a meal in no time.
Having a big, beautiful pantry like this is awesome. But most of the time, you're dealing with a small space like this, so I'm gonna show you how to make the most of what you're working with. First things first, if you don't have a traditional pantry space, you can always use a small hall closet like this one. This used to be a broom closet, or you can use your cabinets. Make the most of vertical space between shelves, and one way to do that is putting things in clear, airtight containers that stack. To make even more use of vertical space, you can use these easy undershelf baskets that just slide right in. To keep going with our vertical space efficiency, you can use clear, stackable bins like this and freestanding, stackable shelves like this. And you gotta make use of all your wall space, which I say includes the door with some easy, affordable, over-the-door shelves. And if you have any dead space in your kitchen, like between a fridge and a wall, or between cabinets, or even under the lip of a countertop, you can make your own easy, narrow, pull-out pantry. And if you're using deep kitchen cabinets as your pantry, add pull-out drawers to give you easy access to items and help you organize. And another thing I love to use for deep cabinet pantries like this is adjustable shelving. You can adjust the width and height of this shelving. It's super affordable, and it allows you to see everything you have in stock and organize. Yeah, see? So much better. Last Thanksgiving, I needed flour for the gravy, and it's Thanksgiving Day. We're like almost to the finish line here on Thanksgiving dinner, but no one can run to the store because we have guests over, we have family over, everybody's cooking, things are happening. I kind of panicked and texted my neighbor and said, hey, do you have any flour? I felt so terrible. But she was so nice, literally put it on top of our wall that's between our houses, and then we put it back on the wall when we were done with it. And I really thought about what a lost art it is not to be swapping ingredients with your neighbors, your friends, your family.
I think we need to get back to that because, you know, you need nutmeg and you buy a whole big jar and you use it, what, once or twice a year? If you have friends or family, just set up a little network where you can be like, who has nutmeg so I don't have to go buy a whole jar? We can share these ingredients communally and use them up, all those dry goods, those spices. Like, who's got one tortilla? I need one.
I just need one tortilla for Taco Monday.
Thanks for watching Problem Solved. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and check out some of our other videos like these two right here.